Have you ever tried to look for a burr and got a little bit overwhelmed with all of the different options? There are so many of them, so many sizes, so many shapes, and how do you know which one you need? Well, let's demystify that just a little bit for you. Hi, I'm Melissa Muir. In this video, I'm working with Stuller, and they have just released their new Stuller Bur Sets, which are amazing. I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to talk with the developers of these burrs and find out why they created them. Because again, there were already so many out there, so why did we need something new? Well, these burrs in particular are about 10 to 12 years in the making. Well, if you know anything about Stuller, not only do they supply a lot of the jewelry companies with findings and settings and things like that, but they also have their own teams of stone setters, and they were finding that the burrs that they had were not always reliable. They went through them very quickly, and they were finding a lot of discrepancies. So that is where they were coming from on this. It took them a while to find a maker for these tools, and finally they teamed up with Dedico. And if you know anything about Dedico, you know that they also make really good precision tools for jewelers. So let's dive in and take a look at some of the different burrs that are offered and how you use those. Now, as you can see here, there are 9 sets total. If you buy the master set, it will also come with the case. The thing I really like about these is that it is going to be labeled quite clearly of what this burr set is, as well as the measurement of that burr. Now you can also see some of these settings have far more burrs than the others do, and that just depends on the style that you have. To access the burr, all you need to do is just rotate the top portion of this holder, and it's going to kind of click into place. There's an indicator telling you what size of burr you're using, and then when you pull that out, I like it because now I know exactly where to put that back in. One of the best parts about them being able to create their own burr sets is that they got to determine the exact size and angles, as well as the number of teeth inside of each of these burrs. After doing a lot of research, they found that too many teeth are going to clog, but too few, you're going to have a lot of chatter. So after playing around, they developed their perfect burr, and it's got a great balance. The Heartbur shape has 3 different possibilities for this. You have a 45 degree, a 70 degree, and a 90 degree. And that's going to correlate to the shape of your stone or the depth of the angle of that pavilion. Both the 45 and the 70 degree Heartburs have 39 pieces, whereas the 90 degree Heartbur is going to have 46 pieces. Heartburs are going to be used for cutting prongs, channels, as well as seats for flush setting. Our cylinder burr set is probably the smallest with 14 pieces. You are going to go from 0.6 millimeters all the way up to 3 millimeters. The cylinder burrs are really good for doing some filing. Also, they're wonderful for inside of rings, but as you can see in my video here, I use it for a lot of other things such as solder cleanup, as well as in my bezels. I would say by far the round burr is probably the most popular. It's also the largest set with 49 pieces, ranging from 0.25 millimeters up to 5 millimeters. Round burrs are wonderful for enlarging holes, carving recesses for sweat soldering, as well as refining bezels, and I also use them for a lot of texturing and decorative elements as well. Now the setting burr is something that gets used quite a bit here in my studio. This 42-piece set goes from 0.9 millimeters up to 5 millimeters. I use these for cutting seats in my prong, bezels, and tube settings. The Cullen Bur set is 24 pieces going from 0.8 millimeters up to 3.1 millimeters. I like to use these for enlarging and deburring holes. I also can use them for my flush settings, and one of the biggest things is repositioning my holes before refining a seat. The Bud Bur set is 45 pieces and goes from 0.6 to 5 millimeters. Similar to the Cone Bur, I will use this to taper or enlarge my holes and help to reposition my holes. The Cup Bur set. It is a 43-piece set going from 0.8 millimeters up to 5 millimeters. Now, this one gets used a lot if I've got earrings or I have wire ends that need to be rounded out at the very end for comfort. I also use these to shape my prong tips. And another one of the features I really like on this is rounding out my dome heads on my rivets. Now, as you can see, there's a whole range of these. Now, there's a few things that you want to kind of keep in mind when you're using these. They are very sharp. They are high-speed steel, and again, they have been precision made, which is amazing. Look at the comparison of the setting burrs here in my studio. Both of these are 4mm burrs, but you can easily see the uniformity and the shape of the Stuller Burs versus those that I have had in my studio for years. Now, one of the things that I like about having a master set of burrs is that I will quickly find out which ones I use repeatedly. And rather than buying a whole set again, now all I have to do is buy each individual burr to replace that one. One thing I cannot stress enough is to make sure you are using a lot of lubricant. So it doesn't matter what lubricant you choose, so just use your preferred one, but make sure you're lubricating. As long as you're lubricating and not pushing on these are going to last you a long time and they're going to cut well. If you guys have any questions at all, make sure you drop those into the comment section and we'll be sure to get back to you.